All right. Let's just see here. Hi, everybody. There we go. Okay. So that works. How's it going, everybody? It's been a while. Oh, 64-page special. Sorry. Hi, how are you? You're over there. The computer's over there, but the camera's over here. Trying a little something different. Long time no see. It's been quite a while. I thought I'd come and chat. There was a little convention today, the little comic convention that the guy puts on, Wally puts on from Thirsty's Flea Market, a couple of times a year, 3 times a year, something like that. I wasn't going to go, and I woke up this morning going, what the hell are you talking about? Of course you're going to go. It was shitty and raining out, so it was the perfect day to head to the Holiday Inn and hang around inside with a bunch of Winnipeg comic addicts and just comic fans in general. This year, there's no more C4, so our big convention is the C4 convention. That's kind of like it's the comic, but it's the pop culture kind of convention. No more. It's done. We are not getting it anymore. There's a whole bunch of reasons, apparently. One is the cost of the venue. The convention center itself costs quite a bit of money to kind of book. From what I heard, I believe I talked about it in one of my last C4 convention, probably the last year's video. One of the booths that I was talking to, these people that come from Montreal, their big thing was that it costs a lot of money for them to ship everything out here, and they just don't make the sales on comic books. So there's not a lot of people that are going to this convention and buying comics. So that matched with everything else. They decided to pack it in, which leaves us without a big convention here in town, which is kind of good and bad. I've talked about it before, the idea that at least with the big convention, I was getting some people who I was getting to see the Montreal stock. I was getting to kind of dig through comics that I don't get to see all the time. So thankfully, there's been a lot of local conventions that have started up and just kind of, maybe not started up, but kind of occurring on a consistent basis. There's a guy in the Winnipeg Comic Addicts group, Vince. He does a convention. There's a couple of guys, Derek and his friends, they do a kind of a garage convention. There's another group of guys that do a garage convention. And like I said, Wally does his convention. And they're really, really great. Even Wally's is fantastic because it's 90% comics. There's some guys there that are selling toys. There's some guys there that are selling video games as well. But the rest of it is comic table after comic table. Really, really great. So I went and there was a couple of sellers there that I haven't seen before. So it seems like there's a good, now that it's kind of really gained some steam and grown some legs, I end up seeing at least one table, one new vendor every single show. This time I think there was about 2 or 3 new vendors that I didn't recognize, which was fantastic. More stuff to go through, more people to meet. Really, really great. And as soon as I walk in the door, it's at this point now where you just get to know people when you're going to your local convention, which is also a lot of fun. As much as I spent buying comics and stuff, I ended up just kind of hanging around and talking to people too, which was a lot of fun. It's good groups of people that go there. Really, really great guys. I was there for much longer than I had intended. I planned to go for kind of an hour. I think I went for, hour and a half, more than likely, almost 2 hours probably. So I got a few books. There's a couple of other things here too that I'd talk about just quickly. Haven't really been picking up much of anything. I've been kind of getting back into music and recording and that sort of thing. The radio show Dead Air is in kind of full swing. I've just pre-recorded a show for this coming Tuesday. I'm probably still going to go in and play it. I've been recording some kind of introductions and that sort of thing. Been recording with synths. I got myself, there was a deal on Amazon for these contact microphones. You could get 5 contact microphones, and with shipping, it cost just under $20 Canadian. So that's been a lot of fun playing with those. So that side of things has really taken over. There's a great podcast, Noise Extra, that I'm listening to. Every Tuesday they do a new episode, and then they have bonus episodes on Sundays for people that are Patreons at a certain level. I'm a Patreon. It's kind of like $5 a month or something to support them, so it gets me a little bit of free stuff. I don't get to hear all of the kind of extra broadcasts, but that's been a lot of fun. I found it's not in here. I found a Walkman recently on Facebook, so I have an auxiliary on my car stereo. So I have that plugged in. I put some Velcro on it and I stuck it to the dash. So I've been listening to a bunch of cassette tapes lately, which has been nice. You see a stack of them here that I was going through. Really, really great. It's really great kind of revisiting all this stuff again and kind of getting back into making music and experimenting with noise and stuff like that. So that's kind of been taking over. I've still been doing a little bit of reading, not as much. One of the highlights recently, which, I don't know if anybody's heard about it, a little book called Silver Surfer Black. I don't know if you know about that one. Man, what a great read. I read the first 4 issues that come out. I read them back to back the other weekend, and they were phenomenal. It's really, just really great. I think Damien was talking about it in his video, one of his videos too, the idea that the story is great, but he feels, and I kind of agree with him, that it's possibly the art that's really pushing the interest for me. When we go into that, the story is great. There's nothing wrong with it. It really feels like if the art wasn't as good as it is, and it is mind-bogglingly good, I don't know how engaging the story would be. That said, it's not over yet. The miniseries isn't done, so I'm looking forward to that. And when I picked up the last one, I had a look through their graphic novels. I'm going to need some glasses for this one. I had a look through, so they have a bunch of graphic novels. They got some sale ones upstairs, and then downstairs they have them on the shelves, but that they also have them along the floor. Pardon me, excuse me, along the floor as well. And it's the usual. You never know what you're going to find digging through there. So this is from IDW, Alfonso Font. Prisoner of the Stars is the title. So there you have that. Really, really great. So far, I've started reading it. It's your standard kind of European comic style for sure. Really nice black and white. I'm maybe like a dozen pages into it. I've just started it. So once I get through it, I'll talk about it a little bit more, probably, seeing as it's been quite a while. Let's see, IDW. When did it come out? I think it's a newer. Oh no, maybe not. Well, it has a 2008 date in here, but that might be for the original. Yeah, 2008 SAF Comics. So anyway, not really sure when this particular edition was published, but there you go. So that was a really nice one. And then on Friday, there was a antique sale at Assiniboine Downs, which is our horse track, our racetrack, just kind of west of where I live, past the perimeter, just past the perimeter highway, leaving Winnipeg. So there's been some comic addicts who have gone to it before, and they seem to have found some books there. So I figured we'd go and check it out. It was free for my daughter to get in. It cost me, I think, $7 to get in. We ate there as well too, and hung around for a while and walked around. You know what it's like. I should have known better. It's called an antique sale, so everything is priced as if they're antiques. There were some books that were reasonably priced, but nothing that was really blowing me away that I felt the need to kind of to pick up. And then the ones that were really interesting were pretty pricey. So that kind of stopped me, but there was a couple of things I did grab. One of them was a bag of 5 Peanuts digests for about $2 each. I think they cost $10 for all 5 of them. Really, really great. So I couldn't, James Douglas, how are you? I couldn't pass these up. For the love of Peanuts, all of them in beautiful, beautiful shape, but the the musty smell on these is kind of out of control. I may have to try to do something about it. It's A Dog's Life, Charlie Brown, a bit of a bigger book, this one, but again, all in just beautiful shape. Look inside, almost like they haven't even been cracked open. And then finally, this one, which is an early printing as well too. You're Out of Your Mind, Charlie Brown. What was the printing on this one? I don't quite remember. I think this was 60s though. First printing was 1958. This is the 6th printing from 1961. Great stuff. Really, really great. I absolutely love Peanuts. I had some of the digests growing up. I don't know if they're still hidden away somewhere, but so that was a nice score. And then the last thing in a box of random smut, which kind of surprised me at the antique show. There was a couple of the vendors that had kind of just adults only boxes, which was kind of surprising, mixed amongst their glassware and stuff like that. And I found Creepax from the Erotica imprint, I believe, right? Which is NBM. That's what it is there. So a nice, I don't know, graphic novel-ish type of size. Really, really great. Priced a little high, but I made an offer and they took it. So I took it. Beautiful, beautiful book. Love seeing it. Never run across any of these out in the wild in my hunts. So that was a real nice score. Even though I've got the first volume, and I believe this story's in that first volume, although I don't really remember. Still worth having. So yeah, that was the antique sale. I don't think I'd go back. I'm glad I went, but I don't think I'd go back. So the WallyCon 2019, September. It sounds like he's going to do another one in November is what he was talking about. I didn't make it. I do have some stuff that I'm going to be selling that I've been trying to sell online and that sort of thing. If I can get someone to pair up with me, I might kind of get a table at his next show. This one, it was just too late. I couldn't get my stuff together. I didn't have a chance to reach out to anybody. I was talking to him before I left, and he was saying that he'll probably do another one in November. Because I'm kind of doing a culling of the collection. I have a stack that's slowly growing out in the other room there. That I'll probably, if I can get 1 or 2 people to share a table, if they have small amounts of stuff, because I think for his table it's still $50. I don't remember, but if I can get a couple of people to share a table with me, maybe I'll give the next one a shot. See if I can move some of that stuff, seeing as I have now different things. Yeah, I mean, you know, it is what it is. There was too many good deals to not walk away with stuff. Really, really great prices. And like I said, really, really great selection. So we'll start here with some comic reader fanzines. December 1980. This is number 186. Where's the glasses? Number 186. With a little hembeck on the back there. What if Black Lightning was white? So in this, I thought I had more issues of this in the boxes, but I don't remember the issues that I had having reprints of strips from newspaper strips. So this is pretty great. There's a couple of color sections as well. Dick, Duck, Duck, Dick. There's also Bullet Crow in one of the other ones too, which then got collected in Eclipse Comics with a mini series. There's another color section here. Here we go. There's Bullet Crow there. And then it looks like Comics World checklist, pocket checklist, etc., etc. Ads for some Comic Cons, Atlanta Comic Con, Zippy the Pinhead. Which side am I on here? Right there. Sorry about that. So yeah, these look like a lot of fun. Like I said, I was sure that I had some other ones, but I don't remember them having reprints in them. Oh yeah, the ones you own have strips. Okay, so yeah. And they very well might. The ones I have, I'm pretty sure they're earlier because I also don't remember them being this size either. This is more like a comic, just a little bit bigger than a regular sized comic. And then Comic Reader, July 1980, number 181. Again, they're in beautiful shape. They were $2 a piece. How can I say no? I can't. That's why I have them. That's why I'm showing them to you, because I didn't. Same thing there. From the Menominee Falls Gazette, Starhawks by Ron Goulart and Gil Kane. What else can we show off here? Superman, some Siegel and Schuster Superman as well. And Modesty Blaze, of course. Gotta have Modesty Blaze. Seems like Modesty Blaze pops up in quite a few things. There's another kind of fanzine that I have that has some Modesty Blaze reprinted in it as well. And then finally for Comic Reader, this is from June 1980, issue number 180. Really, really great colors on these as well too. And it's kind of this newsprint covers on top of just the newsprint interior. Some kind of fumetti as well that they do. Alongside checklists galore. There you go. Again, the amount of kind of adults only stuff that was at the show was surprising to me. Great though, because again, that's where I'm going to find my stuff. There was a couple of guys there as soon as you rounded the corner. The smell of dope was strong in the air. So that was like a siren's call beckoning me to their table. And I found some good stuff at their table as well too. But from another box, there was a box, they were priced, but then they were selling them for $1 a piece, which sold me on picking up more than I possibly would have. One of the things that I was going to pass on, but when I saw that when I was told it was $1, I couldn't resist. Femisaur World. Yeah, what more can I say? What you see on the cover is what you get on the inside. Female dinosaurs. It's $1, man. Eros Comics, and another from Eros. I've got a couple of issues of this. This is Betty by the Hour, kind of a Betty Page like character. Yeah, really, really great. The art is fantastic. Pull this one out. There was quite a lot of the Eros Comics titles. And they're pretty hit and miss for me. The ones that I end up seeing anyway, they're mostly miss. There's not a lot that when I see them, I want to pick them up. But these ones, I do like this Betty by the Hour. I think I've got 3 other issues. Oh, by the way, if you don't like boobs, what the hell are you doing watching this channel? So there you go. There's a look in there. Sorry for anybody that has their children watching. My apologies. So there you go, little Betty by the Hour. There was a couple of Omaha that I didn't have. So I guess the volume 1, there was 2 issues of volume 1 by Steel Dragon Press, and then it got picked up by Fantagraphics, and they reprinted those first 2 books and then carried on the series. I found number 2 of volume 1, Omaha the Cat Dancer, Reed Waller and Kate Worley, from, what did I say, Steel Dragon Press. So there you go. A little bit oversized. Kind of more of a matte finish on the cover. And then flipping through the interiors, doesn't look like there's much lost in the reproductions from this volume to the Fantagraphics. Sorry, finish that sentence, finish that thought. I think I've read the first kind of 6 or 10 of Omaha. Surprisingly entertaining. Not enough that I kept kind of going with the series and continuing reading it, but they kept my interest for a little while for sure. I may revisit them now that I've got these. And then the other one that I picked up, and I'm kicking myself because I didn't look closely that this was number 2. I thought it was 2 different covers for the same one. Turns out there's 2 issues of it, and the first one was there. This is Images of Omaha, the Cat Dancer, benefit for Reed Waller, who I guess was undergoing cancer treatment, and a lot of artists kind of contributed to this 2-issue series in kind of solidarity and support of him. And a couple that surprised me here, Daniel Clowes and Frank Miller on the last pages there, which is really great, like classic Frank Miller and absolute Clowes goodness right there. Really, really great. Mostly pinups, a couple of strips as well, and then a little bit of write-up. Arn Saba from Neil the Horse doing a 2-pager, which is just class act. I don't know who was in the first issue, but like I said, I'm really kicking myself that I didn't pick it up. There's some Dennis Kitchen in here as well too. All sorts of people. Roberta Gregory. So that's kind of cool. I like that. A nice find. And then buried in that in one of the adults only box was a single issue of Dominion from Eclipse Comics. Not sure why it was in there. This is only the second issue of this series that I have. I don't remember the first issue having any sort of adult content in it whatsoever. Flipping through this, I didn't see anything either. One I've been looking for I don't know how long, a long damn time. And then I find 2 copies, but unfortunately I found this one before I found the second one. The second one that I found was half the price of this one. This one was cheap enough already, but the other issue was in just about as good shape, and it was half the price, so I wish I would have held out. But what the hell, how are you possibly going to know that at this convention you're going to find 2 copies of Harold Head, Hitler's Cocaine, issue number 1? It's just not a title that you expect to find in abundance. So that's really, really great, because I've had the second issue forever. So I think that pretty much finishes up my Harold Head collection. So that's exciting. Had to flip through and started reading that this afternoon. What else do we got here? Let's go here. The 2 superhero books that I grabbed. Again, the price was right and the covers were killer, so I couldn't let them go. This one, Avengers number 129, with my man Kang on the front. It's the first part. It continues in, what was it? I wrote it on the back. Who turned off the lights in here? Giant Size Avengers number 2, which I already own. Has Ramatat in it as well too. So I read this one this afternoon. Pretty entertaining stuff. I'm going to be pulling out the other issue tonight probably and reading the second part of it. But it's always great to kind of fill out the Kang collection. My son and I are of the opinion that Kang is going to be a character in the upcoming Avengers phase 73, whatever the hell phase they're on now. Especially now that they've opened up all these time portals and Doctor Strange has done all this stuff. So I'm banking that all of my Kang are going to be worth at least $2 a pop come those movies. But I'm actually pretty excited I hope that we're right about it. Nothing whatsoever but pure speculation. There's been no information that I've seen anyway that would even hint to something like that. But a man can dream. And then an issue of Strange Tales, issue number 155. Very, very slowly working on this run. No rush whatsoever. I see them all over the place, but I'm really holding off for when I see cheap ones. It's got a rip, but I don't care. It's really, I just want to have these. Nice to flip through the art. In this one, it's Marie Severin doing art in the Doctor Strange story. And I don't know. Let's look at two things here. So the first thing is, this is 1967. I know that she was doing some stuff on Submariner as well. Oh, Russ Works, good evening. I know she was doing some work on Submariner as well. I'm not sure if she was just doing coloring or if she was doing more than that. But the art in this one is unique, to say the least. I'm not sure if I like it or not. So what does it say? Mystical Marvel Masterwork by Stan Lee and Marie Severin, yeah. And then it says lettered by Artie Simak. I don't hate the art, but there's something about it that's odd to me that doesn't quite work. And I can't quite put my finger on it. It has a bit more of an older style, and even the body language is pretty interesting there. If you can see that, there we go. Just kind of the body language and the way people are kind of positioned in space. Really unusual. I remember running into some Marie Severin art, and again, I think it was in Submariner, that I really, really liked quite a bit. I'm going to have to go back and revisit it because this just has a very strange feeling to me all the way throughout. So that's cool. Always nice to pick up some of those. Like I said, I'm in absolutely no rush. And I don't ever expect to own a copy of Doctor Strange's first appearance, but I would like to pick up as many of these as I can reasonably. Another find that something I've been looking for or keeping my eyes out for a long time. I saw it from EduComics, and I think there might have been a printing, if I'm remembering it right, there might have been a printing that, pardon me, excuse me, there might have been a printing that Eclipse did as well of this. So this creator went on to do Barefoot Jen, I think is what it's called. First-hand tale, a survivor's true story of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima. Really, really great. You're saying that Marie Severin's art looked sharper when Herb Trimpe started to ink her? Okay, yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Like I said, I didn't see another name in there, so I'm assuming that it was all her in that one. But this one looks fantastic. In color, yeah, totally in color. Surprised me as well, too, because I thought it was a black and white. But again, this could be a situation of what printing it is. This one, it says first printing December 1982. Yeah, so that surprised me as well. Their 64-page special. Really, really great one to have. Very excited about it. I've got a couple of the other EduComics. I think one is Food Comics, and is the other one that Atomic Comics, I think, was Edgy Comics as well. So that's a really, really great find, and again, dirt cheap. Motor City Comics Spring 1998 catalog, in the dollar bin again, so I couldn't pass it up. A nice crumb cover there. Basically just a price guide. Actually, I won't open it up. Yeah, this kind of stuff I really enjoy. Fanzines, these catalogs, always great to just flip through it. I found a couple of Eclipse titles as well. Again, ones that I've never seen before, which is always just killer. So this is a color special, Xanadu #1. Another one of those Eclipse titles that they picked up for like a last issue or a last couple of issues because they came from another small company. I believe this is one of those titles. Doesn't look horrible, doesn't look mind-blowing, but there you go. Cap'n Quick and a Foozle #1, the premiere special. I think this was only a 3-issue run. I'm not sure. It doesn't have the 10-year Eclipse thing. It says 32 all-new full-color pages. I believe Captain Quick and a Foozle appeared in their Eclipse monthly before going to its own title, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been one of those. And I believe it was only a 3-issue series. I have the first and the last, I think. Some nice looking pages there. Interesting coloring going on there. So that's good to check a few more off the old Eclipse list. And then finally for the Eclipse comics. And then that's it. This will be it for the comics, and then we'll get into a couple of magazines. What is the series? P. Craig Russell's. Is it Night Music, I think? This is one of the issues. It says #1, but it's actually, I think it's #7 or something in the Night Music series. It's Red Dog. And this one looks really, really great. Again, I'm not exactly breaking new ground here, saying that, hey, have you heard of this P. Craig Russell guy? He was a pretty darn good artist. This one just looks really great, though. I'm excited about this one. One issue away of getting this complete Night Music run as well. I think I'm missing the last issue. Whatever that is, 10 or 11 or something. So there you go. And then finally some magazines. Quite a lot of magazines there this time around. And there's a booth that's been there the last couple of times, and the selection of magazines in this booth is always really, really great. Quite a few WallyCons ago, I showed off a Jean Roland magazine, French director. It's the same booth that I found most of, a few of these magazines, actually not most of these, a few of them in. And the ones that I was most excited about, because I think I've maybe seen one in the past, and it was Beat to Hell. Psychotronic Film Magazine, issue #3, which also blows me away. A hell of a cover. Not quite newsprint, but almost that type of feel, not glossy at all, but a hell of a cover. And there's the back cover. So it's a movie magazine. Mondo Movies. Sid Haig is in here, who passed away recently, I believe. Wings Hauser, Electric Eels. Even great interiors. A really good inside page ad for the Video Vault with a bunch of John Waters staples and the Canadian first 3D movie, The Mask, which is phenomenal. Really, really great. And then, one of those long-haired Ramones type guys. And then just movie reviews. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Intense. Man, there was such a... I remember when that sucker came out, there was such a stink about Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. So what do we got here for a year? I don't remember. What did it say? 1989 is what it says. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer was that early, hey? For some reason, yeah, no, I guess that makes sense. 80s. For some reason, I was thinking early 90s, but obviously not if it's getting advertised there. Spare parts. Really, really cool. I'm looking forward to digging through this, especially the Mondo movies, Mondo Cane, etc. Africa Adios, all these kind of crazy. I don't think I've ever seen the Psychotronic Encyclopedia. No, Russ. I do have some stuff that is kind of based in this grindhouse type of style with books and things like that. But the Psychotronic one, I don't see these ever. There may have been a time there was a bookstore many, many years ago. I believe it was McNally even back then. Our McNally Robinson here in town is a local bookstore. They started in a really, really small, what's now a coffee, or maybe it's not a coffee shop anymore. It turned into a coffee shop and then a million other things down in Osborne Village, kind of close to downtown. And they had a really, really great film section. I think it was there that I saw it. They also carried the research series of books as well, too. And I'm pretty sure they carried that encyclopedia there. But yeah, I don't have a copy. And then the other Psychotronic, this is issue number 41 from, I think, like 2000 and something, 2001 maybe. There's email. Oh, no, 2004. So there you go. And then this is much glossier and thicker, but still looks like it's going to be a blast, though. So it was a thick trade index of films, probably still gettable. Yeah, I'll have to dig for it. I'll have a look. Film festivals. Yeah, very, very cool. Love it. I always forget. Rocket's Blast Comic Collector, issue number 130. I have one other issue of this, the Ralph Bakshi. I think it's Wizards. I've shown off before. Again, nothing. I never see these. This is the second issue I've ever seen, as far as I know. So that's really great. And the thing that kind of, well, there was quite a few things that caught my attention in this one. I don't know, about 4 pages of fanzines, prices and brief descriptions. Really, really great. The other thing that caught my eye here was this, a full-page ad for the Nostalgia Journal. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the issue that when Gary Groth took over. Isn't that right? Russ, you would probably know that. Before it became the Comics Journal. So that's really cool to see that in these. And that's the fun thing about these old kind of fanzines, and even catalogs and stuff, just seeing the type of thing that was coming out. There's a letters page in here too. And again, then there's a comic strip as well too, a long running comic strip, and I'm blanking on the guy's name right now, so we're going to flip. Don Rosa. That's who it is. Yes, that's correct. Don Rosa. The Per Twillaby Papers, because he makes a point of telling you how to pronounce it. This is episode number 128, and in the little write-up at the beginning, he says that as impressive as that sounds, he said, keep in mind that the first 100 or so were kind of 4-panel strips. So it's not that impressive. This is a multi-page affair, but there's some letters column. The letters column in here I was reading this afternoon definitely has a Comics Journal vibe to it, with just kind of the readers being very upfront with their dislike of things and also like of things, and then getting torn down in the comments afterwards. So that's a really great find there as well. Love to find more stuff like that. And then, speaking of the journal, one issue of the Comics Journal, number 136, the magazine of news and criticism. This is the war issue, so Vietnam, the war in comics. Interview with the creators of the Nam and Vietnam Journal. Graphic essay on how 60s and 70s comics distorted the war. Aircell's Ripper, Racist Trash or Social Satire. I started reading that piece as well. Gary Groth. I believe I have an issue of Ripper. Gary Groth ripping Ripper to shreds. Just, yeah, really not being nice about it in kind of pure Gary Groth fashion. So that's been a good read there. So nice to find the journal. And then finally, 4 issues of the Eerie Publications horror magazines for $2 a pop. 2 of them are in pretty good shape. The other 2 are pretty trashed, but for $2 a pop, how the hell can you say no? Weird Vampire Tales from July 1980, and then another one from August 1981. Terrors of Dracula, February 1980. And Terrors of Dracula from November 1979. And I love, as I've talked about before, I love the covers. I love the lettering on this stuff. I'm starting to work on some just some artwork for Instagram and stuff to promote the Dead Air show, and I've been ripping off some of this style of lettering. I'd love to put together. I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll find out. We'll find out together when I post stuff. But I love doing a special kind of extra bizarre Halloween episode for Dead Air. So I'm starting to kind of collect some artwork for it and practicing some of the lettering. And these magazines specifically have really been some good influence in that regard. That's it. Thanks very much, everybody. I hope you liked the little bit of a blacklight setup back there as I kind of get into Halloween. And I don't know, I don't think I'll be doing this again with the computer over there. It's weird to kind of be doing this back and forth, and I'm sure it's a little distracting. But thanks very much for tuning in. Nice to see you all. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. Russ Works 64-page special. And sorry, I've forgotten your name at the beginning. James Douglas. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. And we'll talk to you soon as I reach over here to end broadcast. End it.